Good evening, my name is Melissa Abraham. I'm from course TESOL, and today I would like to present a simple presentation about issue etika dan professional. So, topic 1 will be about telecommunication theft, which known as also phone fraud. So, the definition of it is telecommunication theft, also known as phone fraud, occurs when unauthorized individuals or groups exploit telecommunication system for personal gain. This may involve hacking phone lines, misusing calling cards, or bypassing billing systems, or tapping into communication networks to access services without paying. It is a form of computer crime because modern telecommunication systems are heavily reliant on computers and digital technology. This type of crime often targets businesses, telecommunication providers, and even individuals, leading to financial loss and data breaches. So, why telecommunication theft is considered harmful? Telecommunication theft is considered harmful because it has wide-reaching consequences for individuals, businesses, and the telecommunication industry. For individuals, it can lead to inflated phone bills, identity theft, and financial distress. For businesses, suffer substantial revenue losses when their systems are manipulated or calls are made for fun or used in their name. Additionally, telecommunication providers may lose billions of dollars annually, affecting their ability to invest in technological advancements. This crime can also compromise sensitive information, which may be exploited for malicious purposes. The ripple effects of telecommunication theft extend to increased prices for customers, as companies often pass on the cost of fraud prevention and losses to users. There are few steps to prevent telecommunication theft. The first one will be for service providers. They should implement robust encryption and authentication protocols to secure telecommunication systems. Regular audits and updates of systems are essential to identify and patch vulnerabilities. Using artificial intelligence or AI and machine learning can help detect unusual activities that may indicate fraud. And number 2 is for individuals and businesses. Users should protect their personal information such as phone numbers and account details by avoiding oversharing their personal information in unsecured platforms. Changing passwords regularly and using multi-factor authentication can reduce the risk of unauthorized access. Businesses should monitor their telecommunication systems for anomalies and train employees to recognize phishing attempts and suspicious activities. Reporting any fraud activity to the service provider promptly can prevent further misuse. So, topic 2 will be intellectual property. If I was the software developer in my own company, I would register my intellectual property for a software patent if I were a software developer. An invention is a product or a method that offers a new way of doing something or a new technical solution to a problem. A patent is an exclusive right granted for an invention. For my IP protection, I'll go with utility patents. The software receives patent protection because it improves people's life and benefits society overall. Since the process of registering for a patent is time-consuming and complicated, careful planning is necessary to secure the patent as soon as possible. There are a few steps for registering intellectual property for a patent involved, which is the first one will be determine patentability. Verify whether your invention qualifies for a patent. It must be innovative, incorporate a creative step, and have industrial relevance. This website provides a concise overview for individuals who are unfamiliar with patents. Number 2 is conduct a patent search. To make sure your invention is original and hasn't been patented before, do a thorough search. You need to do a thorough search. So number 3 will be document your inventions. Maintain thorough documentation of your inventions, including descriptions, sketches, and any results from experiments. When you are preparing your patent application, these documents will be essential. So number 4 will be choose the type of patent. Depending on the nature of your invention, determine whether it qualifies for a utility patent, design patent, or another kind of patent. Number 5 will be prepare the patent application. Application. Draft a thorough application for a patent. To make sure your application meets Malaysian legal requirements, you might want to enlist the help of a patent attorney or agent. Number 6 will be file the patent application. Apply for a patent with the Malaysian Intellectual Property Corporation, which is MyIPO. The application can be submitted online or by regular mail. Make the necessary filing fee payment. So the next slide, I will be showing you the example of a form. So these are the example of a form, which there are many requirements that you need to update and submit it, whether it's online or regular mail. So number 7 will be formal examination to make sure your application satisfies the formal requirements of MyIPO. So MyIPO will perform a formal examination. If there are any shortcomings, you might be given a chance to fix them again. Number 8 will be substantive examination. The process assesses your invention's compatibility by looking at its inventiveness and novelty. At this point, you might have to address any objections made. Number 9, publication. If your application is found to meet the requirements, it will be published in the Malaysian Official Gazette. So number 10 will be opposition period. Third parties have the opportunity to contest the patent grant during the post-publication opposition period. So the patent will be granted if there are no objections. Number 11, which is the 11th step, is grant of a patent. MyIPO will award you a patent and provide a certificate of award if there are no legitimate opposition or objections. And the last one, which is the 12th step, is maintenance and renewal. To keep your patent active, you must pay the necessary maintenance cost. Malaysia uses an annuity system, and in order to keep your patent, you must make sure the payments are made on time. So topic 3, we're going to talk about privacy and surveillance. What is privacy and surveillance? According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, surveillance is the practice of closely monitoring someone or something. The focused, systematic, and routine attention to personal details for the purposes of influence, management, protection, or direction is one definition of surveillance as a social activity. The practice of keeping an eye on people, groups, or places with the goal of obtaining information or stopping illegal activities is known as surveillance. There are 6 types of surveillance, which is number 1 is physical surveillance, number 2 is electronic surveillance, number 3 is computer, number 4 is social media, number 5 is financial surveillance, and number 6, the final one, will be biometric surveillance. So let's look at the types of surveillance and what are the examples of the surveillance. So number 1 will be physical surveillance. Physical surveillance, often known as a direct surveillance, entails in-person observation of individuals or location. Investigators can use physical surveillance to either follow suspects about a site, also known as a moving surveillance, or from a stationary position, sometimes called a stakeout. Number 2 is electronic surveillance. In order to collect data, electronic surveillance uses gadgets like GPS trackers, camera, microphones, and other monitoring instruments. Security professionals usually utilize electronic surveillance to keep an eye on people in public and private spaces. But investigators who need to record or capture secret conversation or activities also use it. Number 3 is computer surveillance. Not every crime is perpetrated face-to-face. Computer surveillance can help with that. This approach entails keeping an eye on a person's computer activity, including their emails, internet history, and other online activities. So the 4th one will be social media surveillance. Since a reasonable expectation of privacy does not protect information disclosed on social media, investigators can keep an eye on suspect social media activity to learn more about their contact, hobbies, and daily activities. Number 5 will be financial surveillance, which is financial surveillance involves monitoring financial transactions and activities to detect and prevent financial crimes such as money laundering. Financial surveillance can be done on an individual level or on corporate level. Biometric surveillance will be the last type of surveillance, which is using a variety of technological tools. Biometric surveillance recognizes people by their physical traits such as fingerprints, facial recognition, or iris scans. CCTV is a frequently utilized biometrical surveillance technique. So there are a few common questions that has been asked for surveillances. So the first one will be, can you monitor your employee computer activity? Yes, EMP Computer or EMP Monitor is one of several software programs available for tracking employees' computer usage. Employers can use its various capabilities, including time monitoring, website usage, key logging, and screen recording to manage their workforce. A key logger, for instance, logs each keystroke you make on your computer. This can be used to monitor employee performance or observe what people are doing online. The second question is, does the government spy on its citizens? For a variety of purposes, including intelligence collection, law enforcement, and national security, governments all over the world have been monitoring their citizens in one way or another. The scope of government monitoring and the techniques used can differ greatly. The Malaysian Intercept Crimes Against Children Unit was established by the Malaysian Police in July 2018. It is tasked with monitoring all Malaysian internet users with a particular emphasis on pornography and child pornography, and is outfitted with a real-time mass internet surveillance software created in the United States. Details like IP addresses, URLs, location, usage, duration, and frequency, and files uploaded and downloaded are included all in the data library of users that the system generates. How is surveillance an ethical issue? The balance of power between the individual and the state or the individual's employers, as well as risk to individual or collective privacy, are major topics of discussion when it comes to the ethics of surveillance. Social sorting is another way that surveillance may be harmful. It is believed that the goal of surveillance is to categorize individuals for either beneficial or detrimental purposes. But there's a risk that societal preconception will permeate these groups and perhaps become institutionalized and ingrained. Therefore, because of such institutionalized bias, certain types of surveillance may actually affect people's prospects in life. What are some steps can you take to block or prevent public or government surveillance? Given the advanced nature of surveillance technologies, it can be difficult to stop or block government or public spying. Nonetheless, there are actions people can take to improve their privacy and lessen the possibilities of being watched, such as utilizing a VPN and encrypting their data. The first one will be encrypt your data. While it's in motion when it's at rest, the majority of countries might be able to decipher your encryption, but it will require time and work. The government could not care whether you have taken the right security precautions if your data is not of the highest value. Number two is VPN. To access the internet, use a virtual private network or VPN. A virtual private network will shield your browsers from hackers and reduce the numbers of the way that bad actors, including governments, can access your networks. As we're moving forward to topic 4, which is computer reliability. Why is reliability in computer systems are important? The science of reliability ensures that computer systems continue to operate correctly even when individual pieces of hardware and software malfunction. Failures are taken into account by security in hostile settings where someone is specifically attempting to cause a system to act improperly. Modeling and analyzing different systems can malfunction and be attacked. designing monitoring systems that identify and stop attacks and failures, and confirming the accuracy of hardware, software, and communication protocols are all examples of research in reliability and security. They also include examining how resilient supercomputers are to unintentional malfunctions and malevolent attacks, examining how resilient big data systems are and how machine learning techniques are applied, and keeping an eye on health. The internet, petascale supercomputers, cloud computing platforms, and essential infrastructure are all made more dependable and secure by researchers. So, as I'm looking forward to the computer reliability, I have found a case where the results of the computer is not reliable. So, what I found is the DTT3023. The DTT3023 was a radiation therapy machine used in the 1980s for cancer treatment, but it became notorious for software and design flaws that caused severe radiation overdoses. Between 1985 and 1987, at least 6 patients suffered serious injuries or death due to errors in the machine's software, including a race condition that triggered massive overdoses when commands were entered quickly. Unlike its predecessor, the DTT3023 relied on software instead of hardware safeguards, but the software was independently tested and not independently reviewed. Operators often dismiss warning messages due to poor training and frequent minor errors, leading to devastating consequences. The incidents exposed the importance of robust testing and safety measures in medical devices. The DTT3023 was eventually recalled and redesigned to prevent future tragedies. This is what I have found from where the computer results is not reliable. So, the next part is discuss the differences in mobile phone dependability from the days of Nokia or BlackBerry and the present when Android or Apple phones are used. In my view, the features determine how reliable mobile phones from the Nokia BlackBerry period are compared to those from the present Android and Apple age. In terms of hardware reliability, Nokia is more reliable than Android because of the durability and robust build. In contrast, the more robust phones of the Nokia period, Android has more complex design but is more brittle. In contrast to Android and Apple phones, which have short-term battery life due to the ongoing demand for more powerful CPUs and high-resolution displays, Nokia phones have been recognized for their battery life performance, which may last for many days on a single charge. Given their capabilities and versatility, I believe the majority of people concur that Android and Apple smartphones have been dependable software. Advanced camera, sharp screens, augmented reality, and a vast app store are just a few of many things it provides. Regular software upgrades for Android and Apple phones also bring enhancement, security patches, and new features. The Nokia era was generally focused on fundamental capabilities like calling, texting, and email. The feature set was minimal compared to today's smartphone, though the complexity and fragility can occasionally cause problems. Modern cell phones are incredibly dependable for a wide range of tasks and functionalities. Apple's and Android phone dependability is frequently influenced by user care practices, personal preferences, and demand, though the concept of reliability may change depending on user expectation and usage habits. Technological developments have generally resulted in more potent and adaptable gadgets. So as for the last part, we'll be looking at topic 5, which is professional ethics, and we're gonna look into professional code of ethics of a software engineer. The Malaysian government and Intomo Malaysian, formerly KPI Soft Malaysia, created the mobile application MySejahtera in order to contain the COVID-19 pandemic in country. It can be used for self-quarantine, contact tracking, and COVID-19 vaccination appointment scheduling. The goal of software engineers is to make software analysis, specification, design, and development, testing, and maintenance a worthwhile estimated career. As part of their dedication to public health, safety, and welfare, software engineers must follow these guidelines. Relationships that are morally responsible are identified by the 8 principles by concentrating on just 4 principles, which are public, client, and employer, product, and judgment. The MySejahtera developer performed a fantastic job creating the application. So the first one will be public. The software engineer is aware of their need to take the public's welfare into account when doing their duties. Through efficient contact tracing and public health management, the engineer who developed the MySejahtera app makes sure that it serves the public interest by helping to mitigate the COVID-19 outbreak. Number 2 is client and employer. The software engineer works for the employer and client, which could be the government or appropriate health authority. This entails attending to customers' requests, keeping the MySejahtera's app's capabilities and restrictions transparent, and making sure the app complies with the objectives and regulations established by the appropriate authorities. Number 3 is product, which is the software developer works hard to guarantee the MySejahtera app's efficacy, dependability, and quality. This entails carrying out exhaustive testing, attending to privacy and security issues, and routinely upgrading the application to satisfy changing public health standards. In addition to being technically competent, the engineer strives to produce a product that respects individual privacy and public health. And the last one is judgment. The software engineer uses professional judgment to make well-informed choices that put their work's ethical consequences first. The engineers take into account the possible outcomes of decision in the context of MySejahtera app, including users' concern, security, and data privacy. They make choices that are consistent with moral standards. Understanding how crucial it is to strike a balance between the demands of individual rights and public health. The MySejahtera's app software engineer should, in conclusion, follow ethical guidelines that put the public's welfare first, be open and honest with clients and employers, guarantee the product's quality, and use professional judgment to make morally sound choices. So that is all from me from topic 1 and to topic 5 that we have discussed so far. So thank you so much for listening. See you soon. Bye.